The Dutch master has produced something special in the wet, in the dry. Max Verstappen wins the Monaco Grand Prix.
By 2.
Team Penske at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and Joseph Newgarden finally wins the Indianapolis 500.
But off turn number 4, the Coca-Cola 600 belongs to Ryan Blaney.
I'm Patrick Starr. I'm the laziest, pinkest starfish in Bikini Bottom.
What's so great about being a big pink loser? Exactly. I was never closer to an award than the minute I started copying you.
Trophy delivery.
Another trophy?
Oh, great! What's it for this time?
For doing absolutely nothing longer than anyone else. Patrick, this trophy's for you!
Why are you putting my watch? I didn't watch you. Who cares? You don't get off you. There's no room. Plenty of room. There's no room. Plenty of room, bud. No room.
I'll wreck you to Charlotte.
Bring it. I don't give a.
I can tell.
I suck just as bad as you.
I understand.
Let's go.
Alrighty. Hello, and welcome to the Full Send Half Mast Podcast, episode number 71. Tonight is a fun night. I've been excited for this podcast. It's the greatest week of racing, and it begins now here on the Digga Boys broadcasting channel. But tonight, I'm here with Tom and Jared. Tom, how are you doing today, man?
Great, man. I am ready to talk about some racing, and I was thinking about it, Jay. It is the greatest damn weekend in motorsports, and I am so excited. This week is already dragging.
Oh, I know. I know. I was like, what day is it? Oh, it's Tuesday. At least we got a podcast today to come talk about some racing that happened this weekend. And we're going to preview all of those races with you also this week for the upcoming weekend as well. Jared, how are you doing, man? I know you're going to be joining us for at least one watch party on Sunday. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm actually doing really good. I'm actually really excited for this weekend. Gonna be joining the watch party on Sunday.
Yes,
Sunday for the Indy 500. I've already got my Larson shirt on there. Did really good in qualifying, so yeah, I'm pretty hyped to see my boy out there.
Heck yeah, Jared has been wanting to join us for the Indianapolis 500 for a while now, ever since the Larson thing. So I'm excited. We're going to have a fun time on Sunday. We'll talk about that more when we get later into this podcast. Also tonight, we have just a small amount of news. Really not a whole lot of news. It shouldn't take too long. I just want to talk about a couple things. Don't really want to focus too much on the news. But then we'll talk about all the races this weekend. We had the All-Star Weekend at North Wilkesboro, Indy 500 qualifying. We're going to talk a lot about that, man. What an awesome week of practice and qualifying that we got to on Sunday with the Fast 12, Fast 6, the LCQ is some great stuff there. And then also Formula One, it was racing at Imola this weekend. We'll talk about that as well. And then Our main talking points tonight, we're going to talk about a little bit into the Recce Spin House, Kyle KFB Busch incident there that happened at the end of the All-Star race. Some stuff during the All-Star race that we maybe don't like too much. And then we'll do our infamous driver and bonehead of the week segments here as well for you tonight. And then we'll preview all the awesome racing that's going to go on this weekend. We'll give you our official picks for all of the major races from Monaco to Indy to Charlotte. So I'm excited to bring all this content to you guys here tonight. But first off, just to go quickly and briefly over this news, Josh Bilicki be running some Xfinity races with JGR this year. I'm super excited for that. He's kind of like Josh Williams, like running with DGM, having some pretty underrated performances. I'm excited to see what he could do with some JGR equipment in the Xfinity series. Also, I just thought I wanted to bring this up, but Zach Brown said he wants to run more Indy 500s with Kyle Larson.
All I gotta say about this is somehow, some way, clowns find company. That's all I gotta say.
Dude, that article was hilarious. They're like, they were asking Rick Hedrick. He's like, yeah, we haven't really talked about 2025. We'd like to do it. I'm good friends with Zach Brown. We'll see if something works out in that whole ordeal. And then they asked Zach Brown. He's like, well, I'm not going to spoil it now, but I already know the answer to this question. I was like, of course, Zach Brown would say that. Gosh, he's such a clown, man. I'm surprised he's not going to Monaco this week and he's actually going to go to the Indy 500. I think that's ridiculous. What a clown that guy is, man. The only IndyCar race he goes to all year, it's got to be the Indy 500. So we're going to get lots of TV time with him on Peacock this weekend or NBC or whatever's broadcasting. Oh, I thought it was a joke. And then the last little thing here. I don't know if you saw this, Tom, or not, but the new McLaren schemes for Monaco, the Art and Senna throwbacks, dude, I'm stoked for it. I don't like McLaren, but their schemes always seem to be pretty lit, pretty fire, and I really like these ones. And maybe that's a little precursor to what I think about this weekend's races. I got some stuff to say about that, but I thought they're pretty cool. I don't know what your opinion is on them. I thought they looked pretty sick.
Yeah, they're cool.
Maybe I might get a diecast of it, honestly. That'd be cool. Not the Lando one, obviously, for obvious reasons, but alrighty. Let's get into the recaps of the races. I don't want to spend too much time on a lot of it. I just want to really mostly talk about Indy 500 qualifying as well as the All-Star race this weekend. But on Saturday, we had the Pit Crew Challenge, and the 20 JGR team wins again, which is kind of ironic because that's the same crew that won it last year with Gibbs in the 54. So I thought that was kind of funny. They were just reigning supreme out here in the All-Star competition, pit stop competitions. Saturday, the truck race, which was basically a 2-day event. They started on Saturday. Eckes was on pole. Majeski went stage 1. Then we got a race postponement. And they flooded North Wilkesboro. Like, holy cow. My favorite image was when they're rolling the tires are all floating on the water. Those flamboyant tires. Oh man, that's so cracked me up so much, dude. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, they flooded North Wilkesboro. That was great. One incident I do want to talk about, though, we had Rajah Caruth and Ty Majeski battling for the lead with about 92. And then Rajah Caruth on the inside makes a mistake and absolutely just runs out of talent. So unfortunate. Ends up spinning it around. Took his chances of winning out of contention, out of play there. A lot of late race cautions. I don't really want to talk about it too much. But then Corey Heim goes on to win the truck race. Definitely your front runner for the championship. I think it's his to lose at this point. I just don't see anybody else being able to compete for that championship other than him. He's been the most consistent all year long. Probably should even be in the truck series this year, to be honest with you. Like, I think he probably should be in Xfinity by now. But you know what? Money talks and BS walks. We already know. You might as well slap a 15 on it. Oh man, is there anything you want to talk about with the truck race, Tom? Or I'll pretty much cover that pretty good there. 1 second. I am having issues hearing you. Let me fix that real quick. My headset's been doing this weird stuff recently. So
That's it.
there it is. Now I can hear you guys. Perfect.
I I was just saying, just Brendan Queen and his run that he
Yes.
had.
Yes. I came on here
'Cause that
last
was
week on the
impressive.
podcast and I picked him as my dark horse pick. And I was being maybe a little optimistic about that, but holy cow, yeah. P4 for Brendan Queen. That's a great result at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, yeah, that was a fantastic run by him.
I'd like to see if he gets more opportunities because we've seen a lot of these other guys come from the Cars Tour and have some success, maybe not some success. But recently, I mean, we had what, Lane Riggs, Carson Quapple, it was Bubba Pollard. A lot of these guys have been doing good when they move up to these truck and Xfinity starts. I mean, I think we got some great talent there in the Cars Tour. I'd like to see more of those guys get opportunities. All right, and then real quick, we'll recap the sprint races and the Grand Prix for that Formula 2 this weekend at Imola. On the first one, we had Cordeal qualifying pole in the sprint race, and there was a major crash there on the first lap. Took out about 5-6 cars, brought out the safety car. And then from there, the race was pretty much dominated by Aaron. And then on the final lap, Colapino put together one fantastic final lap there. Maybe a little controversy there because when they went side by side through one of the chicanes there at the early parts of the course, it looked like maybe Colapino didn't give Aaron a little bit of room there. But I mean, wheel to wheel action for the win. I don't know. I like it. I'm here for the drama. They end up not penalizing Colapino at all, which is so anti-FIA, right? Like FIA, I'm surprised they didn't get penalized there. Look what they did to Signs after Miami. So
yeah, good lord.
Yeah. So I thought it was pretty cool. Colapino ended up winning the race. Amazing last lap battle there, him and Aaron. I thought that was pretty entertaining. Other than that, there really wasn't much more entertainment in the Formula 2 weekend there. In the Grand Prix, we saw Behrman get to the lead off the start of the race, which our offseason prediction, he was like our favorite to win the Formula 2 championship. He's been non-existent this year so far. Leading this race, ends up making a pit stop, ends up stalling on pit road, relegate him all the way back to the back of the field, took his chance of winning completely gone. There was a cool moment though during the pit stops for Cordeal's team when they were pitting him. They didn't get the right rear tire attached, so when he pulled out of the pit box, that thing turned into a missile projectile launcher on the pit lane. Thing went airborne, bounced around. The best part was the marshal standing there on the pit wall right there had to like do evasive action and not get hit by the wheel. I thought it was entertaining. Yeah, it took him out of contention. And then Hadjar goes on to win the Formula 2 Grand Prix, Imola Grand Prix. And then Sunday, there's not much to talk about with the Formula 1 Grand Prix, the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Verstappen wins. Really, the only thing I want to talk about though is the pace of the McLarens. Right, unbelievable pace they have.
They're fast. they are fast. Whatever updates they came with in the past couple of weeks has been impressive.
Yeah, it was crazy. At the end of that race, I think Norris was down by like 4 seconds and ended up closing all the way down to like 3 or 4 car lengths by the end of that race. I mean, that was nuts. I mean, everybody was like, in the comments were like, man, when we were watching that, we were thinking that Lando was going to close the gap and win that race. I'm like, no, dude, no. The sky doesn't fall twice. It can only fall once. So Lando is only ever going to win one Grand Prix, and it happened to be Miami this year. It just is what it is. He is literally Pastor Maldonado. Yeah, and then we also saw, well, like I said, Norris was P2 on the podium, Leclerc P3, and then George Russell did get the fast slap at the end of the race. Point standings in Formula 1 after this weekend, Verstappen extends his lead a little bit more over Charles Leclerc. It's up to 48-point gap now. And then Perez is still in P3, 54 points back. And then constructors, Red Bull's starting to pull away a little bit. Yet, even with all of the good performances we've seen out of Piastri and Norris, they're still not closing the gap on Red Bull. Red Bull's got a 56-point lead over Ferrari, and then McLaren has 114 points back. So I mean, again, I feel like we're going to get another Red Bull Constructors Championship again, even with how terrible Perez is. But remember, last year, Perez was competing for wins and won a couple Grand Prix early in the year last year. And then we got to Monaco, and it completely fell off a ship. Yeah, it was gone. He was done. So if that happens again this year, maybe Ferrari can sneak in and get the Constructors Championship. We'll see. All right, Indianapolis 500 qualifying, Tom. What an amazing qualifying session that was, dude.
Sure was.
Holy cow. Drama from start to finish. Unbelievable. On Saturday, we had qualifying to set your fast 12, so it locked in 13 through 30. A lot of drama at the end there. VK wrecked, goes out late in the qualifying session, ends up putting that thing inside the top 12. The fast 12 from a wrecked race car. By the end of the session, he's in the fast 12. Unbelievable story by VK. Because he had that streak going where every year he's qualified for the Indy 500, he's made it into the fast 6. This year, it looked like he wasn't even going to make the fast 12 even, wrecking out. What a great recovery by them. And then really it was, like I said last week on the podcast, I came out here and I predicted that one of the two Dale Coyne racing machines weren't going to make the race, whether it was Siegel, whether it was Catherine Legge. And in qualifying, I was right. But talk about what happened there in the final minutes of LCQ qualifying there, Tom, with Nolan Siegel.
Look, the first thing I got to say, I just want to echo Graham Rahal here. Graham Rahal was in the position to lose his starting spot once again. I don't think Nolan was going to get him, but huge kudos to Nolan going out there with a road course tub and, putting everything on the line. He basically encapsulated what Andy Jesus said at Daytona, right? He's not going to lift until he sees the checker flag or God. And he didn't see God. He didn't see the checker flag either. But he piled it up off of turn 1, trying his damnedest to get that car into the show. But came off of turn 1, smacked the wall a little bit, broke the right rear toe link, and the rest was history. Look, that is so typical for Indy cars around Indianapolis. Turn 1 is terrible. But he did complain that the car was really loose. So they trimmed the absolute heck out of the car to try to get some speed. So, but the turnaround time on that car and the speed that they squeezed out of that car, highly commendable. I mean, seriously, big shout out to Dale Coyne Racing and their mechanics for being able to get that car back together. Also, big shout out to VK. His team, Ed Carpenter Racing's team, for getting that car back together and not only qualifying, but getting into the top 12. Because mind-blowing.
Yeah. And also shout out to Marcus Ericsson there too, because
Marcus Ericsson.
Before we got to LCQ, he was like 10 mile an hour slower off the pace. It was insane what they were able to do to get that 28 machine back into the field. Him, Rahal. And then another shout out to Catherine Legge too. She was the 31st qualifier, so she was the top of the LCQ, which was impressive. I know in Saturday qualifying, she ended up tagging the wall with the right rear there as well. You should have seen the right side of that tire was just, the wheel and everything was just scuffed up, like destroyed basically. And somehow she didn't wreck that thing after bouncing off the right rear tire. I thought that was impressive. And then she goes out and sets a fast lap in LCQ out of the 4. I thought that was pretty impressive. We'll see what she could do here on Sunday. Also, when we get to the Fast 6, though, Fast 6 was crazy. So the Penske cars, unreal this year. I mean, they are just on another planet. Like, we're over here on Earth. Penske's on Mars. Like, they're absolutely destroying the field in qualifying. So it was a matter of who was going to get the front or get the pole out of the 3 Ganassi cars. We saw Ferrucci go out first. He puts the AJ Foyt car up there in the front or second row, qualifies 6th. Tom's got to be patting himself on the back a little bit because you predicted that in the offseason. You said that your dark horse to win the Indy 500 was going to be a Foyt car. So maybe Ferrucci's your boy this weekend, Tom. I don't know.
No, it's not going to happen. It can't. Look, I mean, I'm serious. The planets have to align, and God's gonna have to align. I mean, the cosmos has to align. I mean, it can't. The
McRib has to be back.
Look, this is how I see it. Okay, and I got a pretty good, little bit of flashback here. When we were at Talladega and Haley Deegan was restarting on the front row on the final restart. Even Jared came up to me and he goes, "Tom, that 15 car, she's gonna win it." And I'm like, it cannot
can't.
happen. It's not going to. It can't happen. It's impossible. It's impossible. So
Exactly.
I see the same thing with Ferrucci, except this time we're slapping a 14 on it.
That's exactly how you worded it too. Like exactly, word for word.
Word for word.
It's like you relived that moment, seeing that 15 in second place. Going
Yeah.
impossible.
I don't know how I remember that though.
Yeah, I don't either, dude.
It's probably the one good call I made all weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and you also did pick Jesse Love to win the.
Oh, I
Xfinity
did.
race.
I
That
did.
was
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
pretty
yeah.
did.
good.
Yeah, you did great with Jesse Love there.
Yeah, so Ferrucci P6, and then we had Larson went to the top of the board, and that was what got me though. Is all of the NASCAR fans watch that like 3-minute clip of him qualifying to the top of the board in the Fast Six, and the social media lit up. Larson's on the pole, and I'm like, you guys are so dumb, man. NASCAR fans are so dumb.
There's 4 more cars, bud.
Yeah, like
And 3 of them are Penske's.
yeah, he ain't even gonna be on the front row. Like, calm down a little bit here, NASCAR fans. So yeah, Jared's boy Larson starting on the second row, P5.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And then P4 would be Rossi. So another McLaren up in the top 6 there. And then your front row was, like we said, it was going to be Penske. It was just a matter of which order they were going to be in. Newgarden goes first. He qualifies on pole. Then Power goes out. He qualifies on pole. And then it is the Yellow Submarine. The Yellow Submarine. Scotty McLaughlin. Aussie Invasion, baby. He qualifies the fastest lap in qualifying history at the Indianapolis 500 this year. What an absolute flyer of a 4-lap average. I mean, what, did he hit 234 2 consecutive laps? I mean, unbelievable pace in that Yellow Submarine.
Jay, when the IR-18 first debuted, I looked back because when it first debuted, I was still working in the IndyCar series. I was running with Matthias Leist, and we went to Indy. We qualified in the middle of row 4 with a 2:27.542.
Dang. That's crazy, the pace that we're getting to now.
So they have found, 7 miles an hour average. That's insane. That is insane. From just 2018.
It's nuts. It's nuts, man. It's crazy. The qualifying was just so much fun. I think the qualifying for the Indy 500 is one of the biggest spectacles of the year. Not even just the race, but it's the whole month build up, then the qualifying. I mean, it was insane. Notables that maybe were favorites coming into this though. We have Rosenquist. He didn't do too good with the Meyer Shank team in qualifying. VK obviously made the Fast 12, but he didn't make it into the Fast 6. Pillow didn't make it. I'm trying to think of who else got knocked out there at the end. It was
Lundgaard.
Yep, Lundgaard was one of them. Dixon, another one that didn't make it into the Fast.
You know what though, Jay? It's all of the Hondas struggled.
Yes,
All
which
of
is
the
surprising because Hondas were so good last year. I mean,
they've been good since 2016.
Oh yeah.
It's to see them having plenum issues for basically the whole month was insane. I mean, you don't see that out of Honda. Something weird is happening at Honda. I think they got a little bit desperate with maybe a little bit of tuning, and it really backfired. Or they're not dumping as much money into IndyCar anymore because they're dumping it into NASCAR.
Yeah, or that, or F1 even. Who knows?
Or F1, yeah, for sure.
Who knows what they're gonna be doing next? Yeah, you're right. Interesting stuff there in qualifying. So yeah, an all Penske front row. I think they showed a picture of the last time that happened. It was pretty cool, and it was the Yellow Submarine was on pole at that time too. So I'm a super fan of that. That was awesome. Is there anything else you want to talk about with qualifying or any other things? I mean, we noted on all the people that struggled.
McLaren and their famous button they were pushing down the straightaway.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. Talk about that a little bit because this is a good point to talk about.
Okay, so it was not the weight jacker. Okay, you could see them making adjustments on the weight jacker through the corner and into the entrance of the corner that they were making. But this was on the left side of the wheel. The weight jacker was on the right side of the wheel. But as soon as Pato O'Ward would come off of 2 and 4, he would hit a button on the left-hand side of the steering wheel all the way. And then as they entered 3 and 1, he would let go of that and do his jacker adjustment and then go into the corner. So what are they doing?
I have no
That's
idea.
what I want to know.
And the thing that got me too, though, with that, what you just said, Tom, maybe at the tinfoil hat moment, we'll have to save that one for the next time. But they never showed an onboard of the Penske cars. They didn't show the onboard of Ferrucci. They only showed the McLarens, and it was every single McLaren was doing it. Like, I don't know.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's some.
It's a go button.
Moment.
Party mode.
Party mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're waiting. We're like, come on, are they going to show an onboard for one of the Penske? They never did. So, well, really, maybe just a conspiracy. I don't know. But we never know. We'll never know.
Never know.
Alrighty. And then Sunday was the NASCAR All-Star Open and All-Star Race. There's nothing to talk about here. There's nothing to talk about race-wise. Well, kind of. We'll talk about it here in a second. But All-Star Open, Gibbs, Bubba, best 2 cars. They advance 1-2. And then Lyle gets the fan vote, which everybody saw that coming. That's back-to-back years now. And then the All-Star Race, Logano qualified on pole, led all but 1 lap, wins the race. And now we need to talk about the drama here. First off, before we get into the lap 2 wreck with KFB and Recce Spinhouse, we'll talk about that after this. But first off, Tom, let's talk about the tires. That seems to be a recurring theme here on the Dega Boys channel in NASCAR. So we're going to talk about the tires. So NASCAR instated this week they were going to try something different for the All-Star. It's not a new thing. They do it all the time. They try new things out and see if they work or what hits and what doesn't. And then they gauge it off of fan reaction. Well, this week they decided they were going to have 2 tire compounds, kind of like IndyCar. They're going to have a primary tire and then an alternate tire. Basically,
they're fake.
Yeah,
they're fake.
Yeah, it's not real.
I read some. Jordan Bianchi actually posted it on X. You guys can go and see it. He did all of the studying. He did all of the homework and everything. The soft set of tires after 80 laps ran only dropped off 0.3 of a second. That is not a soft tire.
No.
Okay? The soft tire was actually the normal tire that they bring to every race weekend, and what they called the prime tire was an altered, harder tire that they brought for Wilkesboro. Yes. It was a joke. Joke.
Yeah, absolute failure. Absolute failure.
Terrible.
Complete failure. The thing that got me, though, is so Logano started on the Reds and finished the race on the Reds. Why would you bring 2 tire types and not require him to run both sets of tires? What are we doing? This is the dumbest oversight BS bullcrap that I've ever seen. Why would you put the harder tires on, Tom? Why? Who are you? Every team that put the hard tires on should be fired. They're dumb. They're morons.
Which hard tire? Which one? They're both hards.
I would have rather
Ridiculous.
had Helen Keller be my crew chief after this race. That was terrible, man. What are we doing?
Yeah, at least she could have read me poems and shit going around the racetrack.
I'm convinced you don't even need a crew
What am I
chief
saying?
anymore. Oh, man. Just hire the Alabama Bama man as your crew chief. You could save a bunch of money, and you'll still finish where you are now. I mean, like, I don't get it. Why would we have 2 different compounds and you not have them? I mean, we have 2 other compounds, which they're not, but why would you not make them run both sets of tires? Like, how are you allowed to run the same set the whole time? What's the point of strategy at that point? Doesn't make any sense.
There is no strategy. There is no strategy. It's manufactured. Again, all of it is manufactured. A halfway break. Come on, man. That is just a
and then a 3/4 break.
That is just a glorified stage caution.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And then all we get is hard tires.
Yeah. What kind of tire? It's like, what's your favorite ice cream? It's vanilla. Well, do you like vanilla bean? Do you like vanilla? You like double vanilla? You like French vanilla? Creamy vanilla? Like, pick your type of vanilla. That's what we got this weekend. So bad, man. Might as well throw some vanilla wafers on it. A little bit of vanilla extract, you know. It was just vanilla. That's the best way to describe this weekend. Vanilla. And so bad. Alrighty. Well, we will be back in about 30 seconds for our infamous favorite segment of the week. We'll see you guys shortly. Alrighty. My conspiracy moment of the week is NASCAR's hard tires, which were their soft tires, were really just the same tires they use every week. There's nothing different. They just put a different color on them to make them look all pretty for the All-Star race.
My conspiracy theory is you know what? All Chevrolets had a party mode for qualifying, which allowed them to get more boost and more power.
And that is our conspiracy moment of the week. All right, Noah in the chat. Onion, ranch, vanilla. You know, spicy vanilla.
That's as much of a yikes as what NASCAR is trying to pull on their fans right now.
Well, and then they lie. I mean, that's crazy.
This
the people
isn't
that
onion
believe
ranch vanilla. This is vanilla or ranch onion vanilla. Okay.
Oh man, I think it's funny how much NASCAR like gaslights its fans, and they eat it up,
Yeah,
dude.
they
They
do.
just eat it up, dude. And then you say something, they look at you like you're crazy. Like we say something about how they're trying to tank short tracks, and it's all the tires are hard because they're trying to tank short tracks. And then Dell Jr. comes out and calls us conspiracy theorists pretty much on his next podcast. Like, you can gaslight everybody else, but we ain't falling for it, bud. I got my own eyes. I got my own ears. I can see what's going on, man. I don't fall for the BS. So, all right. It's time to talk about the only thing that saved the NASCAR weekend. Here it is. Lap number 2. Kyle Busch gets put 3 wide off their initial start by Ricky Stenhouse. Kyle Busch didn't like it and ends up putting Ricky Stenhouse in the wall. After the incident happens, they catch Ricky Stenhouse out of the infield care center, and he says he's going to go fight Kyle Busch after the race. He says, "Hey, Richard, hold my watch." End of the race happens. Kyle Busch is walking back to his hauler, and guess who's sitting there in his SpongeBob pants? That was the man, the myth, the legend himself, old Ricky Stenhouse Jr. The words were exchanged. Ricky didn't like it. Ends up holding back one of them right-handers and hits Kyle Busch.
And then more than words were exchanged.
Yeah, and then more than words were exchanged. Then it just turned into a brawl. The security guard, the same security guard, by the way, that pulled Gregson off of Ross Chastain at Kansas last year. He jumps in there faster than the punch could get landed, pulls Ricky off of him. And then, what was it? One of the crew members is choking out Kyle Busch. Ricky Stenhouse Sr. gets involved. They're choking him out. Well, he's trying to go after Kyle Busch. And then we got this 6'6", 280-pound jackman throwing people off like rag dolls one way or the other. I mean, drama, right? Drama, Tom. I'm going to say, I'll let you jump in after this, but what I'm going to say is we need to get NASCAR into the Chili Bowl promoters mindset here. We post this in the off season. This was a great segment we talked about. We need to let these boys fight. My opinion here is if two drivers are going to fight, we get a couple officials over there. We get one dedicated each crew, and then we get one dedicated to the drivers. Let these guys fight. You know when a fight is over when somebody hits the ground or they just wear each other out, because that's what's going to happen most of the time. These drivers aren't fighters. It's going to be a little clumsy little exchange of hands and it's over, right? This official that in the lime green that pulled off Ricky Stenhouse Jr. out of this fight should be fined. You should not break up a fight that fast. This guy overreacted way too quick. And then my other thought is too, if the crew members want to fight, let them fight amongst each other. If one of them puts their hands on another driver, then they get fined or banned for months on end. Who cares? Get rid of that crap. Let the crews fight. Let the drivers fight. We need as many cameras as we can over there. We need to get this telecasted. We need to get the ring out. What did you say, Tom? We need some WWE intro music or something here.
Yeah.
Let these guys fight, man. Come on. NASCAR needs this moment. And it was ruined. It was taken from us.
Well, okay, first thing I want to say is I actually want to give kudos to Ricky Roundhouse Jr. here on saying something and then going through with it.
Yes.
All right? That requires kudos. So big kudos to Roundhouse here, but when we get into the fight, let's look at it here. Ricky went up to Bush and, was saying his deal, and old KFB with his smart-ass remarks was just coming back and hitting him, and Roundhouse had enough of it, man. He was just like, well, did you even look at the replay? And he didn't even give him time to respond. He just right-hooked his ass, and then he's on the ground, and then Roundhouse is going back with another left-hander and gets him right in the rib cage. And then he falls over, and then old Roundhouse Senior comes in and tries to fight KFB, and KFB is like finally realizing like what the heck is actually going on. Like, oh, did I just get punched? While the SOB's sitting on the ground over there, And so then KFB started grabbing stuff and punching the crap out of Roundhouse Senior, and Senior's bleeding off of his right cheek there off of a hit. And then his crew members come in and put him in a headlock, and it's like, you're not even giving the man a chance. Give the man a chance to get up and throw a fist, That whole thing was such a cluster. It felt like, even though it was pretty great TV, we didn't even get to see old KFB actually retaliate. And I don't think in a fair manner. But the greatest thing that came out about that was the quote by KFB. Old Roundhouse Jr. came back and he said, I'm going to wreck you in Charlotte. And he said, I don't get an F, dude. I suck just as bad as you. Let's go. And that right there really just encapsulates that whole fight. It really does. And I just think that is one of the greatest quotes in motorsports history now. I really do.
I love it. Jared, do you have any thoughts on this whole fight?
Well, I agree wholeheartedly with Jay. I said this when was it when Chastain and Lyle fought?
Yeah.
I said it back then. Let them fight, man. As like a fan's perspective, like I want to see that. I do. And that'll end all the my driver can beat up your driver arguments that the fans get into. And NASCAR needs to get with it, man.
Look, we did talk about this in depth with the Chastain and Lyle incident. And I really started thinking about it a little bit more. What does NASCAR need?
Drama.
They need superheroes. They need villains. What better way to create that than throwing some fists? Seriously. Like Jay and I and Jared, we've been talking about this since the Chastain deal. Let the drivers duke it out, all right? If the crew wants to fight, let them fight, but let it only be between the crews. What's the point in letting the crews fight the driver? Because then we just get some incident like what we saw at Wilkesboro. You know, it's like the driver doesn't even get a chance to get a rebuttal in. You know what I mean? Like let the crews fight. All right, let's do it like the Chili Bowl. Put them in the grass infield section there, right in front of the start finish line. Let him have at it. There's no cars on track. The winner's getting his interview at the start finish line. It's not like, in fact, we'd probably get some of the greatest angles of a fight ever recorded. That would, and then what is the benefits of that, right? Well, you get the superheroes, you get the villains, you get merch sales, you get more people wanting to show up on race weekends to spend money to watch drivers fight, and then not only that, you get more publicity. You get publicity from the world. F1 doesn't do this. F2 doesn't do this. WEC doesn't do this. IMSA doesn't do this. IndyCar doesn't do this. NASCAR does, though. Hey, you want to see some redneck scrap? Watch a NASCAR race.
Yeah, it's the most American thing ever. I mean, every time when I think of like how we could do these fights, bring them out to the front start finish line, I always go back to the John West Townley and Spencer Gallagher fight. That fight was terrible. And that's what we're going to see a lot more of with these drivers fighting each other. But the officials didn't do anything. They let those guys fight. And then they quit themselves. They didn't have to break it up.
For anything, yes, you have. There's some drivers out there fighting that you'll just get the comedy factor out there.
Yeah.
I think NASCAR should just go full blown in this and just let these drivers just go at it and do anything. The only thing NASCAR shouldn't let their drivers do is give commencement speeches. That's the only thing, because it's not working out for the NFL.
Yes.
Look, I'll tell you one thing though. If there aren't beer cans being thrown on the track after the race, being thrown at drivers, then what are we doing?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
We want the cheers. We want the boos. We want we want the fans being as invested as the drivers are.
I would go and buy more tickets to go sit in the grandstands to watch a race if they had something like that set up.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I would drive 4, 6, 8 hours to my local NASCAR track to go and watch that.
Well, especially considering how hard it is to get out of these races after they're done. People leave early because they try to beat the traffic. But if you literally put on a fight, nobody's going anywhere, dude. Like, people are staying there buying more beer. They're going to buy dinner because they realize they're going to have to leave, like, later, you know? Like, hey, dude, you can profit so much more off of this. Like, I see it as a win-win-win-win.
I want to know if there is a con to this.
I don't think there is.
I want that devil's advocate though, because I want to hear it. I want to know what it is.
Well, the only thing I can think of would maybe be like CTE or concussions. Like, they don't want people hitting each other over the head.
Oh, well, Jay, they get fucking drivers every weekend hitting the wall getting CTEs anyways.
That's what I wanted to hear. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. I'm trying to come up with, like you said, trying to be devil's advocate, trying to come up with a reason, but you just can't.
I should have yelled.
No, that's fine. I literally just said that so that I could get that reaction, because I feel the same way. There is no rebuttal. There's no downside to this. These guys can get more hurt driving 200 miles an hour than they can hitting each other with the lack of fight training that they have. These guys aren't fighters. Some of them aren't even race car drivers. They just jump in a jumping fire suit every week and sit behind the wheel of one. You know what I mean?
15 on it.
Yeah, slap a 15 on it. Let them fight, man. How long do you think that fight would have actually lasted if Recchi and Kyle would have not been broken up there? 10 seconds?
I think that's no. I think that would have been a pretty good fight. I think so. Old KFB running his mouth and throwing fists, and Stenhouse getting mad. That would have been great.
I'd have been down.
Although, here's another great aspect to that fight, right? Stenhouse literally stayed mad for 198 laps.
Like you said, though, to start your whole entire thing, though, Tom, he said he was going to do it, and he did it. I mean, how many other drivers would have done that? I don't think there's very many that would have lived up and did what Ricky did. Like, he sat there and had 198 laps, an hour and a half to think about his decisions. And he still went through with it in the SpongeBob pants. needs a wardrobe check. What the hell was that?
Oh man,
What a
that is
goof.
just great.
Yeah. So yeah, that saved the entire weekend. We had no racing, no stone tires again, but at least we got some entertainment at the end of it. That saved the entire thing. We had people that don't even know racing talking about it, talking heads that are actually not even into racing talking about it. That's what we need. We need more people watching the sport.
Yep.
Alrighty. We'll go over driver of the week, bonehead of the week, and then we'll get straight into previewing the race this weekend. This is what I've been waiting for all night long. I can't wait to do it. So, drivers of the week, we'll do Brennan Queen, P4 in the Truck Series, Lance Stroll, P9 in Formula One Grand Prix at Imola. Probably shouldn't have finished there, to be honest. Those Aston Martins, ever since their upgrades, have been terrible. So, that was a good performance by him. And then Santino Ferrucci, I'm going to give him one nod for the Indy qualifying. I can't believe he made the Fast Six in an AJ Foyt car. I'm not going to lie. I was shocked. And then bonehead of the week, we're gonna give it to Rajah Caruth from spinning from the lead. That's unfortunate there. Sergio Perez off track in Formula One, just doing Sergio things. And then Kyle Busch, not for the Stenhouse incident, but for the Gibbs incident. That was for what, like 18th? Like I don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, so we'll nominate Kyle Busch for that one. All right, let's do it. This weekend, the greatest day in motorsports is on deck. We got the ARCA Truck Xfinity Cup at Charlotte for the World 600 weekend, the Indianapolis 500 this weekend for IndyCar, and then Formula One, Formula 2 at Monaco. I cannot wait. All right. And notable entries in the ARCA series, we got Chris Wright in the 15 Venerini, Thompson in the 20 Venerini, as well as Gus Dean in the 55 Venerini. Then we got Quapple in the 82 for Webb, and Connor Mosack in the 28 for Webb, as well as Tanner Gray in the number 18 JGR. In the Truck Series, old Brett Moffitt's back in the number 1 Tracon machine. Mosack will be in the 7 for Spire. Honeycutt in the 45 Niche Truck, and then Jeffrey Earnhardt is back in the Truck Series with MBM in the 67. Xfinity Series, we got old Chase Elliott in the 17, Taylor Gray in the 19 JGR. Dean Thompson in the number 26 for Sam Hunt Racing. I think that might be his Xfinity debut, if I'm right. And then Lyle will be running in the number 30 Rhett Jones Racing Machine this weekend. Old KFB in the 33 for RCR. And then old Natalie Decker is back somehow with DGM. So keep your eyes on that. Instant caution. And then Kaz Grawl will be in the 15 Rick Rowe Racing Machine. SVG in the 16 Colleague Machine this weekend. JJ Yaley in the number 44 for NY Racing. Ty Dillon in the number 50 Amerivet, which is basically rebranded the Money Team. And then Jimmy Johnson is back in the number 84 Legacy Motor Club Toyota. All right, Friday is the ARCA Series, the General Tire 150 at Charlotte. I'm going to take Tanner Gray to win this race. Should have won Kansas, threw that race away late. I think he gets redemption and gets the job done this weekend at Charlotte in that JGR Toyota in the ARCA Series. And then my dark horse, the ultimate dark horse, my dark horse every race for the rest of the year for ARCA. Old Andy Jesus, man. I love it. Oh, let's go Andy Jesus, dark horse pick for me.
All right, for my favorite, I'm going to go with Gus Dean because it's MF and Gus Dean. Come on with it. All right, and then for my dark horse, I'm going to go with Breidinger just because it's still putting up better finishes than that 15. That's why. And we're talking about leaders of women in NASCAR. This is it.
Facts. Do you have any picks for ARCA, Jared?
Big Willie. I'm just gonna keep saying it until it happens.
I love it.
And my dark horse. I'm gonna go with Tony Breidinger too because I mean I think she's the future of women's racing right there. So I want to see her get it done. So she's my dark horse right now.
Heck yeah. Those are some good picks. I didn't take Gus Dean just because I don't want to jinx him. So I like that you put All right, and then in the Truck Series, this was the easiest pick, the North Carolina Education Lottery 200 on Friday. Easiest pick I made if all the picks I've made this weekend. Obviously, it's the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Brett Moffitt. Don't slap a 15 on it because that got done to him already, unfortunately. So we're going to go Brett Moffitt to win this weekend, get the job done, and prove that he should still be in the Future Focus, number 1525 for AM Racing. So Brett Moffitt's the man. And then for my dark horse, I'm going to go with Caden Honeycutt. His starts that he's made this year in the Truck Series, he's been so close to getting a win. I think he's got a 3rd and a 4th place finish so far this year. Why not this weekend at Charlotte? I'm going to take Caden Honeycutt as my dark horse.
Right, for my favorite, I'm not going to share the love. I'm going to go with Moffitt as well. Moffitt is one of the biggest robbed American race car drivers of our generation. I am not doing it out of sympathy. I am doing it because he is a damn fine race car driver. For my dark horse, I'm going to take Tyler Ankrum. I know Tyler Ankrum has had one good year, and that's it. But by golly, he's having a good year this year. And I think that Tyler Ankrum could get his once in every 8-year win this weekend at Charlotte.
Did you have any picks for the Truck Series race, Jared?
I did not have any picks for the Chuck race. I'll just have to take your guys' word for it.
Sounds good to me. All right, Xfinity Series on Saturday, which I think is going to be probably better than the Cup race. Not going to lie. Well, I don't know. Charlotte's pretty good with the Cup cars. We'll see. But the Xfinity Series is can't miss TV on Saturday for the BetMGM 300. I'm sticking with this guy till he wins, man. He's got to win sometime. Please, please, please. I'm begging. Please, Sheldon Creed. He's going to get the job done this weekend. He's going to get his first career win. I'm sticking with it till it happens or he's gone. I don't know. I'm just sticking with it. He's my guy, dude. He could get it done. And then my dark horse, I'm going to go with Parker Kligerman this weekend. I think he'll be top 5, top 10 all day. Maybe if things work out right, get some late race cautions, I think you can see Kligerman surface his way to the lead. And it's a matter of time before he finally wins an Xfinity race as well. He's kind of like Creed in that way. I mean, it's got to be one of these weeks. It's got to happen.
All right, so for my favorite, I'm going to go with Allgaier just because I do still think that he is championship favorite. And I'm probably going to choose him throughout the rest of the year. I'm going to choose him to win a championship for the Xfinity Series. And then for my dark horse, I'm going to go with Sieg. Sieg was so freaking good at Texas. His team has been exponentially getting better week in and week out. He lost out at Texas by, the slimmest of margins. But that isn't going to happen at Charlotte. I think Sieg has a legitimate chance to win this weekend.
Well, I'm just going to say who I want to win. I mean, I'm just desperate to see him win, and that's SVG. I went to Talladega, and I bought a bunch of SVG gear, so that shows you that I'm bought in on SVG. I'm just desperate to see him finally win, so I'm going to go with him to win. And my dark horse is I'm with Jay. This guy's got to win at some point. Like, right? Has to. Sheldon Creed is my dark horse. Come on, Sheldon.
Oh, man. I'm just picturing it now, what I'm going to be doing on Saturday. I'll be watching the race, screaming at my TV again with 5 laps to go because he found a way to lose. Yeah, every week. It's all right, though. It's all right. It's going to be just fine. I like those picks, boys. Those are good picks for this weekend for the Xfinity Series race. I love the Xfinity Series race, or Xfinity Series. So amazing. Charlotte's going to be just as good, so I'm excited. All right. Now it's time. The time and the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to make our predictions for this weekend's races. Our triple header, 3-peat, all day long watch party session here on the Dega Boys channel. And it all begins Sunday, the 26th, the day before Memorial Day, the greatest day of motorsports. And it all begins in the early mornings with the Monaco Grand Prix. It starts, I believe, at 8 p.m. Eastern time, or 9 p.m. Eastern, or 9 a.m. Eastern time. I'm already trying to figure out how I'm going to work this whole day out in my head. But here it is, Monaco Grand Prix time. All right, Tom, I said this off the stream. I'm going to say it again here live on this channel right now. All right, what are the 3 keys to winning the Monaco Grand Prix? Qualifying. This is going to be the most intense qualifying session we have ever seen in the last, well, not ever, but in the last 3 years of Monaco Grand Prix. I mean, the competition this year is closer than it's been in qualifying, particularly with Ferraris, McLarens, Mercedes has been off. Watch out for the Haas machines. Hulkenberg's made the Q3 all 3 times this year. And then obviously you got to put the Red Bulls up there. They're definitely your favorites going into the week. Second key to winning Monaco Grand Prix, not making a mistake in the Nouvelle chicane. Do not go off track. Do not get yourself a time penalty. That will absolutely kill your race. Don't make contact with anybody there. That is where you can lose the race right there. And then the final one. We've seen it bite several drivers in the past. Execution on pit road. That is going to be the key. Those are your 3 keys to finding victory at Monaco. When it comes to qualifying, this is my pick for the weekend. I'm going with Oscar Piastri to win his very first Grand Prix in Formula One. It's going to happen this weekend at the most prestigious one, the Monaco Grand Prix, here in the 81st running of it. He's going to qualify on pole this weekend. Bold prediction, my bold pick this weekend. He's going to put that McLaren. We've seen the pace that they have. He's going to put that thing on pole. He's going to beat Max Verstappen's time, and he is going to go on to lead lap 1 through 78 and win this race. Oscar Piastri is going to get the job done. Aussie invasion. Go, go, go. Let's go, Oscar Piastri, this weekend. My dark horse, and it goes with a lot of the things I've said already. Keys to winning this race. This man, he has won the 24-hour Le Mans. He's looking to get his second leg of the Triple Crown this weekend. He has made it to Q3 in just about every single Grand Prix this year. He is scoring points on a regular basis in an absolutely terrible Haas car. If anybody, any driver on the grid, I could put confidence in to go and put down one flyer of a lap and put themselves in a position to go for a podium this weekend, it's going to be the man, the myth, the legend, the Hulk himself. Hulkenberg is going to find himself on the podium. And if things play out right, maybe we have some issues on pit road. Maybe we got some issues in the Nouvelle chicane. Maybe Nico Hulkenberg can find himself on the right side of the picture here and maybe get that second leg to the Triple Crown this weekend at Monaco.
Yeah, I agree a lot with what you said. Qualifying is going to be absolutely huge. Race start is going to be absolutely huge. And then pit stops. Pit stops are going to be a freaking menace, as they always are. As they always are. But with that being said, with my favorite, although qualifying's not really his strong suit, his race and race strategy, race pace is still, I think, unmatched in the car that he is in. I'm going to go with Sainz for the favorite to win this weekend. I think Sainz, he knows he's out of Ferrari. He knows it, right? He's got a burning fire to win races, I think, while he can. He's got a car to do it. So I think Sainz can do it this weekend. So I'm going to go with Sainz. For my dark horse, and I think he's extremely slept on. Extremely slept on. He's one of the most underrated drivers in F1 right now, I think. Qualifies good in the equipment he's in, races phenomenal in the cars that he's in, and strategy is going to be unmatched because of the team that he races for. So with that being said, my dark horse is going to be Tsunoda. Watch out. Just watch out. I think that I think that he it's pretty close with Hulkenberg, but I think that Tsunoda is the ultimate dark horse this weekend.
Well, kind of what I'm leaning at right here is Jay highlighted it. What does it take to win this race? Execution, precision, speed, talent. To me, there's only one man that can do that, and his name is Logan Sargent.
Oh,
No, I'm just kidding. It's Max Verstappen.
slap a 15 on it.
Max Verstappen. That was a little bit of a joke there. Yeah, Max Verstappen's going to win this race. My dark horse that I'm going with right now is Tom sold me on it. Sainz. I'll go with Sainz, man. The guy's gonna have that fire in his belly. He's gonna have a great shot to win it.
Well, there you go. Those are our picks for this Monaco Grand Prix, the 81st running of it. We're getting close to the centenary of it here in a couple more years, but this is the 81st running of this race. I think of the last 2-3 years, I think this is probably going to be one of the best qualifying sessions we've ever seen at Monaco. I'm super excited to watch it. I'm going to be tuned in on qualifying day intently to see. It's so important to start up front in this race, and I think that the way that the McLarens and Ferraris are pace-wise right now to the Red Bulls, I think this is going to be absolutely wild. I'm super excited. Last year we saw rain come into play. I'll have to check the forecast because if we get some more rain, we already know one guy we can completely count out, and that is Lewis Hamilton, because he will start crying and whining and moaning again. So
Yes.
I'm excited. The rain changed the race last year. We saw an Alpine with Esteban Ocon get a podium here last year. Anything can happen at Monaco. It is one of the Triple Crown races. I'm super excited. But after that watch party is done, we will end the stream and we will be back for the greatest spectacle in racing, the afternoon delight. Oh my goodness, the 108th running of the Indianapolis 500. After the amazing qualifying session we saw, we got just absolute stout speed. We've got the storylines. The buildup is here. What is the moniker for Indianapolis 500? That track picks the winner. Rarely do we see the fastest car win the Indianapolis 500. But with that being said, I'm taking the fastest car in the building, baby. We're going with the Scotty Mac, the Kiwi himself, the yellow submarine. He is my favorite IndyCar driver on the grid right now. I pull for him on a weekly basis. He's got the fastest car. He's in the yellow submarine. The storyline's there. Penske has dominated just about everything under the sun for the last 12 months. After they won the Indy 500 last year, it seems like they're winning everything now. They win all the time. And I think it's going to continue, but it's going to be Scott McLaughlin who's going to win the Indianapolis 500, and it's going to go a long way towards that championship fight. I know he got disqualified at St. Pete, but I still think he's going to end up winning the championship this year. That was my bold prediction in the offseason. Scotty McLaughlin is going to take the 108th running of the Indianapolis 500. My dark horse pick, and I'm doing this purely for my buddy Javon in Nexus Sim Racing, because he has been selling me this for the last 6 months. Every time I'll sit down and listen to him. I try not to. I try to tune you out there, Javon. But he keeps saying this man has the greatest average finish of any driver in Indy 500 history. And I know Tom predicted that one of the AJ Foyt cars would win, a bold prediction in the offseason, win the Indy 500. Qualified 6th. This man's either going to go for the win or he's going to put it in the wall trying. Steering wheel or the checkered, baby. I'm going to go Santino Ferrucci as my dark horse this weekend for those two reasons. Javon's been telling me. Tom predicted in the offseason bold prediction. He's qualified 6th. Could it be the year for Ferrucci, AJ Foyt Racing, the American flag machine on Memorial Weekend?
Yeah. All right. For my favorite, look, I know that Honda's struggling. I know that it was not a good qualifying run for them. It's going to be extremely hard to beat the Chevrolets. But I'm going to go against the odds. I'm going to go with Palou here for my favorite. Like Jay, with Scotty Mac, Palou's my favorite driver. I started pulling for him years ago when he first started getting into IndyCar before he became a champion. And I really like the dude, and I started liking him more after that whole McLaren debacle. And it really opened my eyes to what McLaren actually is, which has formed my opinion of what it is today. So, Palou is my dude. I'm taking him for the Indy 500. Got robbed last year. I hope he can be in a position once again to get it done this year. So, with my dark horse, I'm going to go with my previous favorite driver of the grid because he's racing out there tonight on row 4 for the Indianapolis 500. The one and only Takuma Sato.
Yes! Bonsai!
Sato is just one of those guys that will take every opportunity, he'll grab every inch of racetrack, any bit of racing talent that he has, he applies it. He's an extremely fast driver, and he will extort any mistakes any other driver will have. He is he is that dude, and I'm really excited to see what he could do with the Ray Hall car this year.
Well, I don't think I don't think it's going to be any shocker who I pick for this race because I'm wearing his shirt right now. Kyle Larson's going to shock the world, and he's going to win the Indy 500. And you guys probably better pray he does it because I'm going to be unbearable if he wins this race. That's kind of forewarning you guys on that one. So yeah, Kyle Larson's going to win the Indy 500, shock everybody. Do it. My dark horse, and I'm just going because when you have a name like this, you need to live up to it. I'm going with Will Power. That's my dark horse. I think he's.
That's a great choice.
Yeah, he hasn't won
that is
in
actually fire.
over a year, so I mean that's a good dark horse pick. He's on the front row. I think that Ferrucci and Larson are going to wreck probably for P4 sometime in this race. That's kind of one of my bold predictions as well. So we'll see how that plays out. But yes, I don't think a rookie has won the Indianapolis 500 since Elio Castroneves in 01.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a good prediction there, with Larson.
Rossi won it.
Oh, that's right, Rossi in 2016. Okay, well I missed that one. You're right. I forgot about Rossi. So yes, that's not a bad prediction though. That's not a bad prediction with Larson. I'm super excited. That'll be our afternoon delight. It'll be great. Jared's going to join us on the watch party. I think we'll have Dallas in here as well. So it'll be all four of us watching the greatest spectacle in racing there on Sunday for our second leg of our triple header watch parties there for the greatest day of racing. But then after that is the nightcap. I call it the World 600. It should be the World 600. It should be World 600 presented by Coca-Cola. I'm rebranding it. I think the Coca-Cola 600 name needs to be dropped off. It needs to be World 600. But I digress. When I thought about who was going to win this race, Tom, I sat there and I was like, probably within about 3 seconds, it popped into my head. And I'm sticking to it, sticking true. This man was robbed at Kansas. He won that race. You can't ever tell me opposite. I've seen the footage. I've seen the timing and scoring. This man won Kansas, everybody. He got robbed out of it. He got robbed out of Darlington with that Reddick move that was just a little too aggressive. I think you lose 2 races, you come back stronger than ever. He's going to take the longest race in NASCAR. I mean, it's not how it used to be with the survival factor, but you know who's going to... The cars that are fast in the daytime are usually not the cars that are fast at the end. And I think that by the time we get into mile 400, mile 500 even, this man is going to be the man that takes the victory this weekend. It'll be Chris Buescher, Christopher Buescher, Bobby Buescher is going to win the Coca-Cola 600. And then my dark horse, I'm sticking with this guy as my dark horse pretty much for the rest of the season here. He's absolutely the ultimate dark horse. The career turnaround pretty much put this team on his back and made him relevant again. I'm going with old Lyle Gregson as my dark horse. We'll see him by the end of this race.
Absolute fire picks, by the way. So I actually jumped into the Discord and I was, reading some documents that we type up for our podcast, and I was typing in mine and I saw Jay's. And I was like, man, great minds just think alike, do they? But I'm gonna share gonna share the love on the dark horses, but for my favorite, I'm not gonna share the love. I think you'd be absolutely crazy not to choose Buescher. It's just so freaking fast. That RFK team has done the turnaround of a century. What we have seen with RFK is like what we would have seen with AJ Foyt starting winning races again. And not only on ovals, but on road courses as well in the IndyCar series. What we've seen with RFK has been a motorsport feat of astronomical proportions. And I think that it does not stop. Brad Keselowski came out and said, we made a lot of organizational changes to RFK in the offseason that were painful. He is willing to take that step to win races. He's willing to go through that heartbreak, to go through that pain, to go through the growing pain of getting that team turned around. We are going to see that 17 win championships. We are. It is not a doubt. That is going to happen. Can we see Buescher in the Final Four this year? Absolutely. We absolutely can. I don't have nothing else other to say than that. I'm really high on RFK right now. Dark horses, I was also going to go with Gragson, but I think someone typical of Gragson right now is Gibbs. I think Gibbs is a great pick for a race like this. Gibbs is one of those drivers that I kind of view in the same light as Takuma Sato. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a good car, and what I mean by that is what NASCAR has mandated them, not what in terms of equipment. But Gibbs is one of those that will capitalize. He has the pit team. He has the strategy. He just needs to translate it on track, and I think that why not win the World 600 as your first race?
Wow, I'm kind of was thinking down the same line as you guys when I was like, literally, I was kind of unsure about this, so I was kind of just throwing anything at the wall and seeing what stuck. The one thing that popped out to me, the one name, the one driver that popped out to me that I thought was going to do really good in this race, and I don't know why, I just feel really good about his name. I feel like he's catching his stride, but it is BK, have it your way. Brad Keselowski is going to win this race. Absolutely. And my dark horses, I'm not picking Lyle Gragson. I'm not even considering that. I'm kind of disgusted that name popped up. But my dark horse in this race is, man, I just want to see the guy win. I just want to see him win. He might have a bad day. Who knows? I really don't know. But I'm picking him to be my dark horse because I want to see him win so bad. But I'm going with Alex Bowman, man. Come on. You got to stop disappointing me. Come on, Bowman. You got to win. I want you to win so bad.
Well, there you have it. Those are our picks for this weekend's World 600, the nightcap to our triple header watch party. Real quick, we'll do a fantasy, and then we'll start winding this podcast down. First, we'll do Formula One fantasy since we kind of missed that on the Monaco picks. But F1 fantasy, my lineup, I'm going to go for Verstappen, Sainz, Hülkenberg, Ocon, Bottas. Pretty simple here. I think all of them are the best driver on their respective teams, and I think that the performance has been good. I was able to budget them in. I'm going to stick with that as my driver lineup. For my manufacturers, I'm going to go Ferrari, and then I will go Kick Sauber as my second one. Those are the two I could budget in, and I'm really confident with Sainz Leclerc combo there at Ferrari. I feel like that's going to give me a lot of points.
I'm going to go with, and I might change this because and try to mess around with the monies, but you get penalized for changing drivers. So, but I'm gonna go with right now. I'm gonna go with Leclerc, Perez, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, and the reason why I chose Magnussen is because he's a good qualifier too. Good. I said good, not great, not amazing. But and then Albon. And then for my constructors, I'm gonna go with Ferrari and Aston.
All right, there's our Formula One fantasy. Now our NASCAR fantasy picks for this weekend's race at the World 600. My driver lineup in fantasy is Chris Buescher, obvious reasons. I'm going to take two Penske's. I'm going to go Logano and Blaney here. Blaney won this race last year. Logano seems to find himself off that milk carton, so I'll put him on there this week. And then I'll go Larson and Hamlin, just because I have a feeling Larson's going to do pretty good this weekend, at least in one of the races.
Didn't Joey Logano win a race or something?
Last year or this year? Because the only one he's won is the All-Star.
Oh, did he win the All-Star race?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they didn't really showcase it because the fight was going on, so we didn't really know who won.
My fantasy for the 600, it's obviously going to be Buescher. I'm going to go with Byron, just because I think that Byron can bounce back here at Charlotte. And then I'm going to go with Hamlin, because Hamlin's just going to be good. He's just going to be good. I'm going to go with Reddick, because Reddick, even though with his little debacle he had at Darlington, he's still stupid fast. Definitely going to be fast as a Toyota. So That's why I'm choosing him. And then for my other one, I'm gonna go with Gregson. I really do feel like Gregson's gonna have a good weekend this weekend.
Yeah, those are some good picks. I tried to heavy load my lineup because this is the race that pays the most in fantasy because he got the 4 stages. So I was like, I'm gonna front load the heck out of my fantasy lineup. And then matchups. Me and Tom talked about this. These matchups suck, man. These are the worst matchups we've had in a while on fantasy. This is bad. I looked at them, and the first one is Larson v. Byron, which I was like, okay, we got a good lineup. I'm gonna go Larson over Byron here on this one. I just feel like he's gonna do better in the 600 than he does in the 500, for obvious reasons. So I'm gonna take Larson here.
I'm actually gonna take Byron. I don't think that most people may realize the stress that that Kyle Larson's going to be going through with the 500 and the 600. I was thoroughly surprised what Kurt Busch was able to do when he did it. Unfortunately, he had a motor blow after a P6 finish at Indy. But he was running top 10 all day. But, do I put those two in the same category? I don't know. I really don't. I mean, what we've always seen out of Larson was 30-lap dirt features and then going to run a cup race. Not a 500-mile race, 200-lap race, and then coming to a 600-mile race. So it's going to be interesting to see what Larson can do. I'm going to err on William Byron being able to do better because of him not having to endure the 500.
Alrighty, and then the next matchup, this is where it gets bad right here. Missed opportunity by NASCAR. We got Ricky Stenhouse Jr. versus Jimmy Johnson. Why wasn't it Kyle Busch, Ricky Stenhouse? They've done this in the past. They just absolutely flopped on this one. And this is a no-brainer. I mean, I'm taking Ricky, obviously. It's not even close. Jimmy, at least thankfully we got the money team back, and we have, who else is on the entry list? We got NY Racing. At least Jimmy's going to have people to race against, so that's an upside. But I'm going to take Ricky over Jimmy.
Do we need to explain any further?
No.
This was a horrible matchup. Of course I'm going to take Ricky. It's easy points.
Yeah, and then the next one is Blaney v. Busch. So we should have Busch versus Ricky. Blaney versus Logano would have been a perfect one. Team battle there. But I'm taking Blaney over Busch. This is easy. I mean, he won the race last year. It's Penske's been on a roll, and they seem to find themselves at the front of all these marquee events. I mean,
yeah,
I'm taking Blaney.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer as well. It's Blaney. I mean, it's another terrible matchup. It's just crazy.
It's great. It's crazy. And then and then we get Logano versus Reddick, which is so dumb because we could have Blaney Logano, and now we get Blaney or Logano versus Reddick, which we should have had like Reddick v. Bell or something, or Gibbs v. Bubba. Would have been a good one. But I'm gonna take Logano over Reddick. I know Tom picked Reddick as his dark horse, and I figure he probably would take Reddick here. So I'm gonna go opposite with Logano over Reddick.
Yeah, I'm gonna choose Reddick just because of just pure speed at the moment.
All right. Well, there is our NASCAR fantasy and Formula One fantasy for this week. Alrighty. That will pretty much wrap up this podcast. Lots of great stuff going on this weekend. I believe we only have 2 streams this week, right, Tom? I think we stream tomorrow for the Motor City Trucks at Charlotte. And then that's the only stream we have other than our triple header on Sunday. Make sure you guys put your notifications on, turn them on. It's going to be a great day. If you guys love racing as much as we do, you guys are going to come and enjoy those races with us on the watch party. Throw it in on one screen, turn the watch party on another screen, hang out with us, come interact with us in the chat. We'll be here all day long. We'll be starting our first stream at about 8:45 Eastern time in the morning for Monaco. And then our last one will probably end around 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. I mean, it's 12, 13, 14 hours worth of streaming we're going to do. We'll have short breaks in between all the races because there's about an hour and a half, 2 hour gap between Monaco and Indy. And then there's also another hour and a half, 2 hour gap between Indy and Charlotte. So we'll have a little bit of downtime in between the streams. But we'll be right back here, right on time, right on cue for all these watch parties. Jared said he's going to be in for Indy 500. That's going to be fun. I think Dallas said he'll probably be in all of them. I'm not sure if Tom will be able to be in all of them. We'll have to wait and see, or maybe he will be. I don't know. Family
I plan
stuff
to.
on Sunday. Oh, he plans on doing it. All right.
Yeah.
I'll be here for all of them. I'm kind of a loser. I ain't got no life, so I'll be right here watching all the races with you guys. Oh man, it's gonna be so much fun. We'll be like Tom and me were talking. We'll make some food. Probably be eating on stream a little bit because we don't have any enough downtime between to really do a lot of that stuff. But we'll have some brewskis. So if you guys are having some brewskis with us, it'll be fun. Interact with us in the chat. It's gonna be great days of racing. We made all of our predictions, all of our picks. I'm feeling pretty confident in a few of them. We'll see how it all plays out. But I'm excited. I've been waiting for this day. I mean, like Tom said at the beginning, this week seems to be dragging, man. It's only Tuesday. We gotta wait another 5 more days. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so excited. Are you excited, Jared? Are you excited for the races this weekend? I think you're muted.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yes. I'm stoked. I'm over the moon. But yeah, that'll wrap up this podcast for this evening. Thank you guys for tuning in. We had Noah in the chat. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us on a Tuesday. Watch the podcast. We appreciate it. Everybody else, thanks for tuning in and watching this podcast with us. If you guys want to become a member of our channel, like Noah is here in the chat, go to our channel page and click the membership program and pick a tier that works best for you. All the cool perks you get. You'll be an exclusive member on our Discord. You get a shout out on all of our broadcasts, our live streams. Also, all of our videos. We have a little title screen at the end to showcase all of our members. You'll also get some cool emojis and little icon next to your name in the chat for your membership level. And then you also get other cool things like being able to come join us on a podcast even, or come watch or join us on a watch party, or even come join us on a broadcast. There's a lot of cool tiers and opportunities for you guys, or even get free merch, which like Tom is wearing with the Big Daddy NASCAR merch. Go to our merch store, get some Dega Boys swag, rock out with the Dega Boys. All of those proceeds from our membership programs, our Patreon page, which allows you access to all the full-length crash compilation videos that you can't catch on YouTube because YouTube doesn't like them. So I put them on the Patreon. There's some other cool content on there as well that you definitely have to go check out. So make sure you guys, all the proceeds that come from all of those platforms and all of those streams all come back to help us make better and more content for you guys here on YouTube as we continue to provide you the best racing community on the internet. I think we have the best racing community on the internet. I mean, our Discord's thriving. All the news and updates that you can find are on our Discord. You can interact with other people, like-minded people that like racing as much as you do. Whether it's Formula One, World Endurance Championship, IndyCar, IMSA, NASCAR, it doesn't matter. Dirt racing, short track racing, it's all right there on our Discord for you guys to see and view, and even post your own news on there as well, which is the whole point of the Discord, for everybody to interact and communicate there. So thanks to all of our channel members. I'm gonna have to go through this list here, Tom. Help me out if I miss any, but we got Dallas Seward, who's he's been on a lot of stuff with us over the last year or so it's gonna be exciting to see him back here on the watch parties this weekend. We also have Telltaps. We have Nexus Sim Racing with Steve Dowden, Javon Thompson, Bryce Saucier, Richard Latuque, Daniel Maddox, Noah Blackwell with NGB Designs. We have Austin Goss is a new member on our channel as well. I'm already forgetting them, Tom.
Hayden, Will Tingler, and Chris Stange.
Yes. There it is. Thank you to all of our members.
Legends.
Yes. Yes, you guys are awesome. Thanks for supporting the Dega Boys and helping us out, make more good content for you guys here on this platform. Make sure you guys tune in on Sunday. It's on its way. We're gonna be here again. Watch party, triple header. I just keep wanting to talk about it because I love it so much. I can't wait to do it. Go follow us on all of our socials. We got X, we got Patreon, we got Facebook, TikTok, as well as Instagram. Go support us on all those platforms. Lots of stuff up there, updates or any content coming out. Also, after this podcast, there'll be polls for the driver and bonehead moves of the week that you guys vote on every week. So make sure you guys put your piece in there and vote on those polls. As well as on Friday, I've got 3 exclusive polls coming out for you guys to pick the winners of the Monaco Grand Prix, Indianapolis 500, and the World 600 this weekend. So I got some pretty good options on there. And then you can also comment if your option isn't available. So look out on the channel for that on Friday to make your guys' picks for this weekend. We'll see who wins those polls or who everybody in the community is thinking is going to win those races. So I'm excited to see what you guys say on Friday. Is there anything I missed here tonight, Tom? Anything else you want to say? Jared, anything you want to say? Jared, thanks for coming out here and joining us on this podcast tonight, man. It was awesome. I had a fun time.
No, I don't. I just want to say thank you to everybody who came out.
Yes.
We had a good podcast tonight. We had some fun.
It was a lot of fun. I always like coming out here on Tuesdays and talking racing. This is what we do. Yes, thank you guys again. And this has been Jay, Thomas, and Jared. And we will catch y'all in the next one.
The Dutch Master has produced something special in the wet, in the dry. Max Verstappen wins the Monaco Grand Prix.
Hey, Penske at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and Joseph Newgarden finally wins the Indianapolis 500.
But off turn number 4, the Coca-Cola 600 belongs to Ryan Blaney.
I'm Patrick Star. I'm the laziest, pinkest starfish in Bikini Bottom.
What's so great about being a big pink loser? Exactly. I was never closer to an award than the minute I started copying you.
Trophy delivery.
Another trophy?
Oh, great! What's it for this time?
For doing absolutely nothing longer than anyone else. Patrick, this trophy's for you!
Why are you putting my watch? I didn't watch you. Who cares? You don't get off, you. There's no room. Plenty of room. There's no room. Plenty of room, bud.
No room.
I'll wreck you at Charlotte. 'cause you're
Bring
back
it. I don't give a.
I can tell.
I suck just as bad as you.
I understand.
Let's go.